All right, live stream Tuesday. Uh, Getting situated with the microphone. Yeah, lots going on, especially in crypto land, but generally across the board. I mean, this is this is a good time for a lot of our investments. Lots of 52-week highs. Yeah, it can't be long before we start to see a lot of stocks start to approach the all-time highs. I mean, it's going to happen middle of next year for some of them, but I mean, like I was looking today, and yeah, there's like a whole bunch. Obviously, a little bit of a sell-off in crypto, but lots going on. Things are happening, and yeah, I mean, I know what people are going to be thinking. I think like like one of the critical things that I look at that most people don't consider is human psychology. And after like how brutal this bear market was, I know what most people are going to do. Yeah, they're going to sell out as things approach. I mean, as they like kind of like make any money. And this is like one of the biggest like traps because most people they don't look at facts, they don't look at evidence. Like we're so price driven, and all of our psychology is driven pretty much by price. That yeah, I mean, I think so many people will just exit out probably end of this year, early next year, and it's after that you will see like these gigantic gains, and then there'll be regret, and this is like this like the cycle of like a life in the markets. People get out too early, then there's regret. They watch the thing go higher. They're like, oh, I missed out, I should have never done anything, I should have left something behind. And then they come back in somewhere near the top, and then the cycle begins again. And this is the story of life. And yeah, I'm predicting the future too far into the future because like things are about to get really good, really good. But that's really not the subject. I'll cover that someday. Let's talk about like, what's like flying high, like that move in XRP. Like, come on. I mean, that's just like ridiculous. I mean, XRP is now like the third largest crypto token. And those of you who are regular watchers know, I think it was back in July, I did my XRP video. And hey, I wanted to take like a little bit of like a victory lap because I got some serious hate. Like go look at the comments on that. Like people did not like that video. There are a lot of XRP haters out there. And they did not like the video about like XRP is like $2.50 today. So I mean, there's a lot going on. Let me do the usual things that I do. A legal disclaimer and disclosure, which is that this live stream and all the content from ATG Digital is not investment or financial advice. It is presented to you as opinion. Use it as information, engagement, entertainment, whatever you choose to do with it. It is your responsibility because it is your money. Next, all ATG Digital may contain errors, oversights, and mistakes. In other words, if you think that what I'm saying is like some sort of like a guarantee, certainty, somebody actually in the last live stream, oh, I almost fell off my standing chair here. I made a mistake of calculating what like the advisor fees were, and somebody wrote, "It's like, Paul, you're scaring me." Hey, listen, when I'm doing mental math while I'm talking, I can make mistakes. Yeah, I mean, we're not perfect. Yeah, I mean, so like any content, I know I might misstate a fact. It's not on purpose. It's just that I'm talking off the cuff. I don't have notes. I come here and I talk off like having read what I know. So like, yeah, it's possible for me to make mistakes. Things can happen. That's true for the live stream. It's true for all of our content. So go check your own facts. I'm okay. I make mistakes. You can fact check me. You can correct me. I have no pride or arrogance about any of this. Understand that investment operations have significant risks and can lead to the loss of your principal. But anybody who's been with me for like the last 3 years, yeah, know, like, hey, things can go up and they can go down a lot. There can be crashes, there can be bear markets. And yeah, and there, in either of those situations, heck, even in bull markets, you can lose your money because, we can have a bad trade. I can, like, I am not perfect. I'm not God. I mean, we try our best, but things can happen. And if you don't want that, checking accounts, savings accounts, certificates of deposits, that's where really, you can put your money. But like, you enter the markets, there's risk. You can lose money. It's almost a guarantee you'll lose money. And not all of the things that, I present are going to work out. Like, I mean, people write me and say, Paul, you recommended X. I was like, yeah, I mean, it was one of 50 stocks. You picked one. Yeah, I'm just not that good. The S&P 500 has 500 stocks. And for the last 4 years, 10 of them have carried a 500 stock portfolio. So like, yeah, I mean, there's going to be losers in every portfolio. So you pick one, you pick two. It's completely possible that you may lose money. So I just want to make that 100% clear because this continues to be a repeating theme. People will pick one stock that they really love, that they fall in love with, and they put all their money into it, despite like what? I mean, number one rule in the game, never make an all-in bet on any single investment. Yeah, but that's probably like the number one rule that is violated all the time. This has become an increasing issue because the old newsletter business is struggling, from what I understand. And they're taking money from companies. There are a lot of companies looking to raise money from individual and retail investors who are very active. And companies, private companies, public companies, crypto sponsors, they are happy to pay for someone to recommend them. We do not do this. For better and for worse, for gain or for loss, what you get is independent, unique, our view of the world. And yeah, we do not do this. Next, we publish a lot of stuff. Our Substack finally hit 6,000 subscribers. So thank you all for joining in. I think the YouTubes are helping. We publish that pretty much every weekday that the market is open. We've got the podcast, which is inactive for now. YouTube, I'm on regularly. And then on social media, I'm on X pretty regularly. I have discovered a way to post on Instagram. I just put up these like white pages with like little messages, mostly about Bitcoin. But this is a good way to keep that sort of going on like things that I think are like the really big things like Bitcoin, Tesla. We'll post on that. And then obviously on Facebook, Dean is very active on our Facebook page, my Facebook page, posting all kinds of things and memes. I mean, Dean's very good with the memes. If you're looking for paid subscriptions, well, that's where you go, atgdigital.media. We are having good months, and it really does show you that price is everything. Like I can come on and like recite facts and evidence and research. Nobody gives a crap. Couple of months of rising prices. Yeah, I mean, I think we had like, maybe 80, 90 new subscriptions last month. This month already, we've got like, 10, subscriptions coming in. So yeah, what can we do? Human beings, yeah, we like the pump. We want the pump, and that's what gets us excited. Low prices, yeah. Research, facts, evidence, give me the pump like XRP, and people are in. Well, good news. In my judgment, in my opinion, I mean, there's going to be sell-offs, and we've seen sell-offs in like, in XRP, which I think the peak was, let's put this up, because I mean, I have to say, like after 3-4 years of XRP, to see this was pretty amazing. So I mean, let's like revel in this. Why not, right? I mean, people ground my nose into the bear market, so why not revel in this just just enjoy it. I'll look at that, right? Isn't that a thing of beauty right there? Yeah, 50 cents to almost $3 in the space of what? Like, what was that? Like 50 cents on November 5th. So a little under a month, little under a month. Yeah, so like 6x. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Now that's a pump. That is a first class pump. And more is coming. More is coming. I mean, that everyone thinks like I can tell you, like, why is it even back down to what? Yeah, it says 256. I mean, obviously somebody is cashing out because, like, yeah, if I push this out to 5 years, I mean, look at that. Yeah, I mean, the last high was back in like April 2021. And then, like, if you push this out 10 years, I mean, the all-time high is 329. So, and that was all the way back in 2018. I mean, essentially, XRP, which is the token for the Ripple network, in case you don't know, I mean, it's a blockchain network, it's a private ledger. It was always planned to be that way. It has its greatest use really for financial transactions, particularly money transfers. That's what it was kind of like was built for, and it got like traction. Like in Asia, people are talking about putting their like sovereign currencies on it. It's got wide applicability because it's a special kind of blockchain because it's private. It's called a Ripple ledger. And if you want to use the ledger, you have to use XRP. I mean, that's how you use it. But it sat still because since 2020, when the SEC went after the Ripple network and the Ripple Corporation, which owns the network, and it has been like a brutal, like from like $1.95 all the way down to what, like 28 cents. Yeah, and then what's happened? Like, why is it going on? Truthfully, like, there's nothing actually new. Like, I mean, the SEC sort of kind of mostly admitted that they didn't really have a case because they kept insisting that XRP represented an ownership stake in the Ripple network. And anyone who understands like what a network is, like, no, you're using the token to pay to use the network. It's not an ownership stake. And that was pretty clear for a long time. So I mean, the SEC was always going to lose in my judgment. They lost. And then we had that little spike, which is when we put it into let's see, when did we put it? Yeah, right about here. Yeah, we put it in about 75. That was in March of this year when the first sign that the SEC was lost, however you want to put it. And then it obviously half from there, which sucked. But it does show you, like with some of these things, if you're very, very sensitive to the volatility, you can miss out on gains. I mean, the answer is to make your position small enough that you don't like react to this and it doesn't affect you. But the question I know that was asked, it was asked on our Facebook page after Dean put up, I mean, since we're reveling, we might as well, this is the Facebook page. Dean put this up and we got quite a few comments from folks. But the comment that I think people have is, well, I mean, May wrote in and wanted to know what XRP was, and I answered here. But I think somebody asked here, I don't know where it is. Is it too late? Somebody asked that. Is it too late? And the answer is depends on your time frame, depends on your volatility threshold. it has obviously spiked a great deal. Uh, the price, like the price patterns of how human beings react to big bumps, is that many people who have been sitting there are going to probably take something off the table. I mean, that's just a very reasonable behavior. And there's probably, like, it'll probably start to approach that old high of $3.29, and some more people will peel off. But just remember, I mean, this has been a blockchain that has not been able to develop their business plans, not been able to really roll out solutions based on their blockchain for pretty much 4 years. And if you go back to the video that I made in July, um, let's see if I can get that up here. Yeah, it might be too much. But you go July. I mean, the case that I made is that at the time when Ripple and XRP was launched, Ethereum and XRP were considered to be peers. Would be considered to be peers. And I laid out, like, well, in my opinion and in my judgment, these should be sort of like go back to being peers, because when they began, the prospects of these two being like kind of like the two heavyweights in like the financial part of the blockchain crypto world, that was how it was seen. And Ethereum and Ether, they have developed, and there is an entire ecosystem of apps and decentralized finance that developed Ethereum, propelling it to, its market capitalization of 430 billion. But XRP was held down by this lawsuit, and I theorized that there would be catch up. We're clearly not there yet. We're at XRP has a market capitalization of 146 billion, and so I mean, if you round that out to 150 billion, so I mean, Ethereum is still 3x bigger at present. If you buy into my world, which my view, which is that these should be somewhere near parity. And if I've seen upsides for Ethereum that says, it can go to 10,000, 12,000, 14,000, 20,000. Well, I mean, XRP, I mean, and it will sort of like compete in two different ways. Like the Ethereum solutions for the financial system, for crypto-based and blockchain-based financial systems, is based on decentralized finance. XRP, if you will, sort of like is built on a private blockchain. But either way, it suggests that the upside is still there, but you will have to ride through volatility. I mean, it's not going to be a straight line up. And obviously, along the way, there will be profit taking, etc. But there should be still more upside in this. There still should be more upside in this. So that's really kind of like, that's the sort of like investment that has gotten at least my attention and subscribers' attention. But in general, we've got a roaring bull market going on in crypto. Bitcoin is grinding through all the sellers that are there between 90 and 100. And it's kind of like the same thing as like what I laid out with XRP. Like, people are always asking, Paul, how is it possible with MicroStrategy buying, with the Bitcoin ETFs buying, with Marathon Digital buying, with other companies buying? Why? Well, how can it be like the price there? I mean, the thing is, like, remember, I mean, a lot of Bitcoin was issued, in the very early cycles for almost nothing. I mean, I don't know if you guys follow me on X, but if you do, I mean, look at these folks. Look at these folks. This is a hedge fund called Pantera Capital. look at the conviction. Look at the early insight. I mean, blows me away. I mean, these folks were buying in 2013, right? I mean, look at that. You read that, and they're talking about buying. Let me make it a little bit bigger. They're talking about buying 156,000 Bitcoin for 20 million, right? I mean, 156,000 Bitcoin is like about, yeah, it's less than half of what MicroStrategy bought, but we're talking about 2013. But my point in bringing this up is that there's a lot of people out there that bought, like, hundreds of thousands of Bitcoin, and they sell. They sell, on the way up. And if you've got, imagine you have costs of, yeah, I mean, he's talking about costs of $65. $65. Yeah, I mean, $65. I mean, yeah, I mean, what's it to sell, a bunch of Bitcoin? So they're not the only ones. I mean, if you look at, I put up this post talking about the U.S. government, but this first auction in June of 2014, Tim Draper, who went and bid, and he paid, I think, like $600 for that entire lot of Bitcoin. There's, in other words, there's always some amount of supply that comes on for people who are like, hey, I've ridden this, I've made whatever, 5,000%, 10,000%, I'm out, and they provide liquidity. But we've also seen in every cycle that there are also buyers to replace it. Like in this cycle, we've got MicroStrategy, we got the Bitcoin ETF, we have like 30 or 40 companies now, mostly small, no big, like, Microsoft, Yad, or anybody else. But nonetheless, they're all buying, and they will suck up the free float that's there. And my best guess is that just looking at the price pattern of the dips are being bought. There's the sharpness off like 93, 94,000 is getting like it's just like there's clearly buying right there. And at some point, yeah, there's just no more at 94, 95, or 98. And then boom, yeah, we're going to wake up one day and it's going to be over 100. I imagine it would already be here, truthfully, because the push at, like, I mean, we got so close, 99.8. Which was, now like a little bit, yeah, we're closing in on a month. Like I think December 11th will be a month, but that's inevitable. And the general price pattern, at least, based on my study of price history, is that once a stock and investment goes through these round numbers that we focus on, that people pay attention to, 10, 100, 1,000, 100,000, a million, like human beings, we're very focused on that. The general public, for the most part, is still not like, super attentive to what is going on with Bitcoin. But 100,000 will definitely draw what? Social media will go crazy with memes. Mainstream legacy media will start to cover it. That will bring attention. Some number of those people will bring money to buy. And given that, we have been grinding 90,000 now for almost a month, and MicroStrategy is like, use this time to continue to buy. And Marathon Digital, which is a miner, they upsized their offering today. So I think they're going to take in like, nearly $1 billion. They're buying Bitcoin. Yeah, when the public comes, yeah, I mean, they're not going to come. And then there's going to be like waves of FOMO that come in. I mean, like we go through 100, we'll probably get to 130, 140. There will be sell-offs. But I've told you, I've laid out my upside, which is $1 million, somewhere between the end of October and early December next year. It could go higher than that. And from there, we will have the the usual crash that comes as a result of the price being too high, and then once again supply will overwhelm demand and crash it lower. But that's for 2026. So next year is looking to be an extraordinary time for Bitcoin, for crypto related investments, for crypto related fintech stocks, Coinbase, PayPal, Block, the crypto miners. Obviously, we'll take, a lot of the crypto with it. Like, I mean, if Bitcoin is whatever, $200,000-300,000 come, let's say, April or May next year, what will the price of XRP be? Well, I don't know exactly, but I'm going to bet higher. What will the price of Ethereum be? I don't know exactly, but I bet higher. What will the price of like these decentralized finance coins that are suddenly ripping higher, like Chainlink, what will it be? Higher. That's my view. So I just did the silver tier update for ATG Digital, and that's kind of like what I said. I was like, I've been saying this for months, and if you're a paid subscriber, you can go and watch the updates. If you're not in crypto, I think somewhere next year you will have FOMO and you will come in at higher prices. And the thing is, like I said, there is a very clear cycle to Bitcoin. And then all the other coins have a kind of like a delayed cycle relative to it. But if you come in later, then obviously you're paying a higher price, and then you face the prospect of being exposed to that crash, the volatility, and having to react, and all these things. So my view is that looking out to 2026, the bottom's going to be like between 200 and 300,000. So you're going to get to like a million, maybe, something in that range. And then you're going to have like a 70% drop. So you come in and you pay 400,000, you pay 500,000. Yeah, I mean, you could, see a lot of volatility. I mean, long run, it's fine. If your time frames are 5 years, 7 years, you'll be fine. But my best guess is the people who rush in next year, because of the FOMO, because of all the attention, they generally tend to have the shortest time frames. They want to make money as fast as possible. Yeah, they're the ones that, those folks are the most weak hands, paper hands, if you will. And they will populate the price at the top. But this is all for 2026. I mean, we still have what I call the golden period coming, right? I mean, we're just begun. Like, I've gone and looked at every halving cycle, and it's past the 6-month point. So the halving was on April 19th. So 10/19 was 6 months. 11/19 was 7 months. 12/19 will be the 8th month. And if you go and look at every halving cycle in incredibly volatile form, right? I mean, the highs and the lows are like 15, 20, 30% apart, all within a straight month. I mean, hey, let's put up our friend Bitcoin and just look at it on a monthly basis, because folks paying attention to this are very short-term oriented, right? I mean, this is the daily chart, and you can see here 99,800, November 22nd. I said November 11th. So, it's been about 12 days. But let's zoom in a little bit and just really take some of this out. Let's look at this at a monthly basis. Let's remove that blue line, which is a moving average, which really, I don't really want there. But let's look at this, right? So let me just check the stream. This is 12 months. So the halving is right here. You can see that people anticipate the halving and bid it up. Plus, we have the Bitcoin ETF. And then sellers came in, and then we go through. This is the halving in April. Month 1 is May. Month 2 is June. Month 3, month 4, month 5, month 6. The bid up begins. Month 7. Woo! Look at that. Low of 66,793. High of 99, about 800. And now we are here So far, the low is 93,590. The high is 92,219. I believe we'll be well above 100,000 come year end. That's 28 days away, and many people are going to be like, Paul, you're delusional, you're always early, you're always wrong, you get everything, blah blah blah. That's all fine. I'm entitled to my opinion. That's my view. We'll be at come December 31st. I would be very surprised if we have not seen 130, 140, something in that range. I'll say outside shot, we even have like a giant 100K candle. In other words, where the low is like, where we are about like here. And then the next candle is like, the top of that candle. Candle, by the way, is this. Each of these things are called a candle. These are monthly candles. You can do weekly candles. You can do daily candles. Heck, you can do 1-minute candles. You can do whatever. Essentially, it gives you the high, the low, and gives you like a sense of the range. But outside chance that the top of this candle could be 200K. It doesn't mean it will sit there, because remember, it will be volatile. It will be volatile, which is why people who tend to trade Bitcoin, don't tend to make a lot of money, because the volatility is huge. And we know from how human beings react, we like the pump. That's when we want to come in. And then, of course, we sell out when there's whatever, like, the low point, etc. But that's what's setting up for. And then once we get past 100, yeah, the game is on. The game is on. It will draw so many more people right now. Like, let's do like I did this in, let's do a Google Trends check, which is a way of just looking to see like, hey, how interested are people in Bitcoin? So this is for one day. Let's do it for the last 12 months. So you can see a little bit of a spike in November. That's the 100K. And then you'll see the previous spike, that's at 73. But then let's zoom out to 5 years. Yeah. This is the old high. Let's zoom out from 2004. And here's, the biggest level of interest, at least in terms of Google searches, was back at the 2017 high. The 2021 high is here. So, the general public, despite whatever you might think, is still mostly really not involved yet. They are yet to come in. And they will tend to come in somewhere near the top. They will tend to come in. They will push this higher, push this to some crazy high. I'm theorizing it'll be 1 million, something in that range, and then of course there will be a crash. But bottom line, before I end, like sort of like what to all this, it's just that it is the golden period still for crypto. What we are just really seeing for the vast majority of crypto, which is not making new all-time highs. And a bull market is defined based on old terms. A bull market is a bull market not based on a 20% move, but when you see new highs. That's what a bull market is. Why is that a bull market definition? Because when you find new highs being made, it means that there are new buyers who see a new case and they see greater upside than the folks that bid it up to the old high, which means there's an entire new swath of investors who are coming in, who are focused on the future and believe that the price is going much higher, which is why they're willing to pay above the old high. That's a bull market. For the vast majority of crypto, other than Bitcoin, we ain't there yet. Ethereum is not at a new all-time high. XRP is near it. It's not that far, but we will see new all-time highs because the vast majority of people don't own crypto. I would say the people who got involved at the old high in 2021, 90% of those folks got washed out in the brutal, I mean, absolutely brutal, destructive crypto winter bear market. And where will they come back in? Well, what gets people interested? The pump. So they're going to come back in next year, and they will come back in and bid things higher. So crypto will carry fintechs along with it. I think it will generally carry growth along with it, because people will, as Bitcoin makes highs, people will peel off. Money will start to push into similar and similar-ish investments. I don't think the people who own crypto are the same folks who go and buy dividend stocks. I know some of you might be in that category, but I would say the vast majority of them are not. So you will see liquidity start to line up, push out from Bitcoin first into crypto itself. Those of you who are sophisticated know about yield farming, how you can, essentially manufacture crazy amounts of liquidity using platforms like Aave and others on crypto. So we got all of that's going. But bottom line, really, there is going to be an extraordinary run next year. And I keep saying this: if you're not in crypto in some way, shape, or form, some people they're like, Paul, I just can't believe it. I want to be in it. I want to, get involved in any of it. Well, then there are stocks like, you can still participate by being in the crypto miners. You can be in Coinbase, you can be in PayPal, you can be in Square. There's a lot of different ways to play this. There's obviously MicroStrategy, but I think come this time next year, people who are not in crypto will feel like they missed out. They missed out. All right, I see a lot of comments there. I wanted to talk about Mankind Corp because there is like this scenario for a major short squeeze in this. And I also wanted to talk a little bit about Fannie Mae, but I think they can both wait. There's nothing going on with immediately necessarily with both of them. Fannie Mae, I think, has seen like short-term profit taking, which is reasonable. It's gone from $1.20 to $3.60. So, I mean, people take profits. And, when they come, other people join in and, everyone tends to sell about the same time, just like people, do with buying. But nothing really has changed. And I'll say odds are still good that Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac come this time next year are on their way to freedom, and the stocks, have done some, have gone up a lot. All right, let me put the questions up and comments up as I usually do. David, who's a regular live stream watcher, says, if you're still watching Root, do you know why JP Morgan downgraded them? I do not know why JP Morgan downgraded them. I am still watching it. Truthfully, brokerage firms downgrading stuff is not relevant to me. These folks have enormous conflicts of interest because of their investment banking relationships, and you should take anything they say with a giant chunk of salt. They are not people that you should take at face value. This is from experience. I can tell you all of their multiple relationships with competitors will affect their opinion, whether they're competing for an investment banking deal, either with Root or, with somebody else that can affect them. It's all, so I do not know why, and it's not relevant to anything that I look at. Root is not in any of our portfolios, unfortunately. We sold it out and took a loss. We have some of the other new world, like insurance companies, but we don't own Root, unfortunately. It has like rocketed higher in some mixture of a recovery / short covering move. Always late to the party. Well, welcome, Joey, and good to have you. Thank you. I actually love this. This is just a beautiful design, Italian Yeah, Italy makes like the best design in my opinion. Great to see you. Great to see you as well, Cynthia. Uh, uh, Remember to follow the rules of the game, right? Please, like the most hate I got through the bear market and crash was people who picked one stock and inevitably, I mean, of course, the people who wrote me picked things like Momentous that, went down 98%. They put huge amounts of money in, lost huge amounts of money. Of course, people want to blame me. Okay, come and shoot me. Yeah, it's all my fault. That's all fine. Listen, yeah, you got to run a portfolio. Remember, the S&P 500 has 500 stocks, and in 2023, in 2024, heck, for the last 3-4 years, essentially 10, 12 stocks have powered that basket of 500 stocks higher. Our portfolios have 50 or 45 stocks, and people complain. Look, I mean, you got to have enough shots on goal to be a success. Not every stock can be a winner. The more stocks you have, the greater your chances of seeing a big winner. But thank you, and I can't wait for you to have incredible results, truthfully. And thank you for the compliments on the vest. Thank you. XRP, XLM, and B. What's B? I don't know what B is. XLM is Lumens, which has also had a huge move. Not in any of our portfolios, but it has had a huge move. But B, what's B? I'm trying to think. I don't know. I'll have to run that in, or maybe you can put it in the comments. Raul, who is a regular live stream viewer, says, following me since Banyan Hill, now at ATG. Thank you, sir. Are there any stocks that people close to the new president or invest that we should invest in besides Elon? I don't think this is a good way to think about it. I mean, for very short-term things, but Tesla, yeah, obviously Elon is very close to President Trump. But Tesla is a real company. They make real products and services. People are looking for pumps. I really generally don't do that. I like to buy into scenarios where I can lay out like, hey, this is what, I think is going to happen. It's usually related to the business rather than they know President Trump. And, those kind of pumps are there for sure, but it's just really not my focus. So I'm probably the wrong person to invest in. But I did mention this morning in the silver tier update that one element of Tesla is definitely going to be benefited as a result of Elon's relationship with President Trump, and that's autonomy, which is that those of you who have Teslas, and I know we had an entire group of folks when I was at Banyan Hill that took profits from their Tesla position and bought Teslas. If you have full self-driving, you're going to get a revolutionary update. Version 13 looks pretty much like the finished item. It's never going to be fully finished because there's always new situations, but it is effectively pretty much a robotaxi. I'll say it's 97% there, maybe 98% there. And the rate of improvement now is so good that this is pretty much a done deal. And the market is increasingly behaving like, hey, we want to price in the robo-taxis into Tesla. And Elon is on record as saying like, hey, this is a multi-trillion-dollar business for them. So, they definitely will benefit from, a administration that is much more friendly to innovation, because innovation cannot happen unless on some level, like the government allows the old to fade away and for the new to emerge. Because the government can definitely stand in the way and simply put roadblocks, regulatory roadblocks, like, no, you need to do this again, you do this again, and just delay. So the government's view on this will matter, and autonomy, the technology is ready. The technology is ready. It's clearly a large business. Why? Well, I've always said that innovation is not about technology. Innovation is about changing our lives. Robotaxis will shrink the cost of transportation down by, depending on estimates, Kathy Wood has an estimate. Elon put out an estimate saying about 20 cents instead of a dollar. So you're talking about like an 80% shrink. What does that do? Way more people can afford robo taxis. Also, many people be like, hey, I don't need a car. I mean, what do our cars do most of the time? Sit there in driveways doing nothing. I think many of us have better uses for 30, 40, 50,000, $60,000 worth of our money doing something else. So increases convenience, increases access, shrinks cost, which opens up this activity to so many more people. That's innovation. I mean, it changes our lives. So that's a long way of answering that question. Thank you, sir. I appreciate your support, and thank you for being with us at ATG and coming on over. I mean, I think we just hit an all-time high, which is about 2,300 subscribers. Essentially, all the people who I guess were maybe in the inner circle, and some number of the folks that were in our premium services came over. Definitely, like at the peak at Banyan Hill, uh, Profits Unlimited had 165,000 subscribers. So we're nowhere near that. I mean, those folks, hopefully, maybe next year, as Bitcoin gets to new highs, Tesla goes to new highs, our stock goes to new highs, they'd be like, what's that dude's name again? Profits, Paul Mampilli. Maybe they'll come back. But maybe stocks where Peter Thiel has his hands on well, a lot of Peter Thiel's portfolio is in private investments. I mean, and I think like he's kind of like wound down a lot of it. I have not tracked his founders fund, but what's Peter Thiel like? I mean, own. Well, I mean, I don't know if he still owns Meta, which used to be Facebook, Palantir. I mean, yeah. Again, this is not my way of thinking, because the idea here is that like somehow Trump is going to like take actions to favor this group of people. I certainly hope we don't have that kind of a government, truthfully. I want real innovation to proceed because it has benefits. So I just don't think like this. I look and see, hey, here's a company with a great product or service that, yeah, can be big because they provide a huge utility to humanity, to society. People find that it's going to be worthwhile to pay for it, rather than, hey, this can pump up higher for a week or a month. I think Peter Thiel's investments are generally I mean, I think like he still owns a significant amount of Palantir, but Palantir is a real company. Um, what is my take on EVgo? We have sold this out a long time ago, and we are not inclined to come back because the EV charging stocks they have a really poor business model, and they have they have huge upfront spending, and they don't really make enough money on charging. So it's hard to see them making money in the near term. And they have obviously this very well established competitor with a lot of money called Tesla that has a global charging network that is so far superior to anything that any of them have. But my best guess is that maybe one or two of these will survive, but it's very hard to tell at this point in time which one that's going to be. I definitely track them, Blink and EVgo, etc. But yeah, the business model, it just loses money for now. Can you explain mining museum? I could explain mining, but I don't know about the museum part. What is a mining museum? I don't know what a mining museum is. I mean, there's mining museums in West Virginia that like about, mining, but I don't really know. If you mean crypto mining, I mean, essentially that's a business about, producing Bitcoin or Ethereum, and then they get paid a fee for it. That's a fixed cost business approximately. And when the crypto prices go high, they make the spread. So crypto prices go higher, their costs are fixed. So they make increasing amounts of money. People see those profits show up in quarterly reports. They're like, this is going to the moon, and they bid it higher. That's an explanation of This is a good question. This morning, the same judge in Delaware once again says that Tesla can't pay Bitcoin what it, I mean, pay Bitcoin, pay Elon Musk what he was, approved to get by shareholders. I mean, Tesla is no longer in Delaware. I suppose the scenario is that Tesla will probably appeal this. My best guess is that Delaware, which makes a lot of money essentially from companies registering themselves in Delaware. This is a terrible thing for Delaware. It suggests like a politicization of something that um, is their lifeblood. Increasingly, more and more people are registering in Wyoming and in Texas, and I think that when this gets appealed to the courts in Delaware, they will probably put this aside and say, hey, the shareholders are entitled to compensate the management of the companies as they see fit. And it is not the business of a judge to tell shareholders what to do. Or the other case is that the board of directors and Elon will put this up once again under Texas jurisdiction. And my best guess is that the shareholders will once again come and say, hey, you did the job. You didn't know what was going to happen. You took the risk that you would get nothing. You slept on factory floors. You pushed yourself. You deserve this. I think to not give Elon what he deserves is un-American. I would vote for it again, and that's my view on this. But I think it will work itself out. Yeah, I mean, if you go on YouTube, you can see if you go under the live folder, you can see all the old live streams are recorded. You don't have to come on live all the time. I mean, each live stream gets at this point about, 2,000 to 3,000 streams. I believe the vast majority of those are folks that are coming and watching it at some other time other than when we are live. Thank you for everything. Well, I appreciate you attending the live stream. I was telling our subscribers that you can have knowledge, but if you have nobody to share it with, yeah, what's the point? It's sort of like having a light and hiding it. So I'm grateful to have all of you to tell and answer questions. Mankind updates. Yeah, I want to do a kind of like thing on their convertible bond and how there's like it's kind of like complicated because I have to get into how people hedge convertible bonds. But to make a long story short, there is the potential for a huge short squeeze as a result of the convertible bond if Mankind Corp goes to repay the convertible bond in cash. The convertible bond expires in March next year, so there's time, but it's a huge number. It's 40 million shares. And if they repay it in cash, then the folks that are short would have to come into the market and buy Mankind stock in the market. 40 million shares? Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of shares. So, I mean, the prospect of that is there. And I want to do that, but they've got the pediatric trial results that are potentially there. What else there? Well, I mean, the potential for rolling insulin shortages because of the price cap on insulin, that's obviously in play. That would benefit Afrezza. So there's just a lot going on for Afrezza that could go for Mankind that could go right in 2025. I would expect it to be I thought it would be a huge winner this year. It's up a lot, but I mean, I think this could be like a big, big, big winner in 2025. Very nice. Very nice. This is my mom. My mom is my most faithful viewer, watching from India. Hi, Mom. Always good to see you. Marathon digital update. I mean, this is I think it's probably going to be one of the biggest winner, if not the biggest winners in crypto related stocks next year, because they are the biggest crypto miner. And now they have also, on top of that, adopted the MicroStrategy financing technique where they're selling convertible bonds, taking the money and buying Bitcoin. And if you look at the amount of Bitcoin that's sitting on their balance sheet, is not like it's not trading at the same premium as MicroStrategy. So this has huge potential. As Bitcoin prices go up, the spread between what it costs them to mine Bitcoin and what they can potentially sell it for, that will start to get locked into how people look at the company. And then people will start to attach a multiple on that. That's still ahead in 2025. From previous cycles, the miners, I think, tend to peak before Bitcoin, but we got new behavior in this cycle. So we don't know, which is that Marathon Digital didn't really hold the amount of Bitcoin that it did in the 2020 cycle. Yeah, in 2025, they will have like billions of dollars in Bitcoin sitting there. So maybe they don't crash as much, but we'll just have to see like how it goes. But either way, they're looking to have an incredible year in 2025, in my judgment, in my opinion. Question on Avalanche. No, Avalanche, we have traded in the platinum tier crypto, but it is a long-term holding in our silver tier as well. So, I mean, you have to, if you're an ATG digital subscriber, it's really important because we do trade some of the crypto that we own long-term in silver, gold, and diamond. So, I mean, we may sell Avalanche in crypto in the crypto platinum tier, but it's still a long-term holding in the silver tier. And the upside is that, I mean, they've got the California DMV that has put all their cars on Avalanche. It is, as far as I know, the biggest enterprise-wide application of blockchain, at least that I know of. And if it works and it takes hold, it's inevitable that other people will start to do something similar. And if California is doing it, which is, I think, the largest number of cars in the United States, then neighboring states will be like, well, we should do it because, all the people in California are selling cars into Nevada and Oregon or Arizona. They're on the blockchain and they say, well, we should put ours on the blockchain. Which blockchain? They'll be like, well, California is an Avalanche. Why don't we do that? So if that gets this thing going, then, it's going to keep going up. But I do want to say Avalanche is still in the silver tier portfolio. So please make sure when you are getting an alert from ATG Digital that you read the full thing, not just instantly react. Be like, I own Avalanche, sell it. They're like, oh, that is platinum crypto, which is our trading tier. Not quite short term, but short-ish. So yeah. Marathon, will it be the MSTR in the making? Well, their strategy is not the same as MSTR because they still run expensive mining operations, right? I mean, so we don't know. We've never, I mean, we know a little bit about MicroStrategy. I think, like, my view is that MicroStrategy will trade at some peak valuation relative to its Bitcoin, somewhere near the Bitcoin peak. And then as Bitcoin sort of like peters out, that premium will shrink. And I think it's just going to do that through Bitcoin halving cycles. But with Marathon Digital, they've got mining facilities, which cost money, and they got to pay for. So, I mean, I don't think convertible bondholders want to pay for that. They just want really the MicroStrategy part. So there's like, a little bit to see, like, how do shareholders, how do investors price all that in 2025? But we're going to have, I think, like, first Marathon Digital is going to like rocket higher with Bitcoin, and people will value it obviously for its earning stream from mining, and then for its Bitcoin. But it's a mixed, it's like a hybrid of a miner and MicroStrategy. We don't know for sure. I mean, the market always likes pure plays. So my experience is that when somebody hybridizes what they're doing, people get confused and they don't know what multiple to put on. So if I was Marathon Digital, I mean, I would probably be like, hey, well, we're like the second, but maybe we shut down our mining or something like that, and just do what what MicroStrategy is. But at this point, like, if they just do that, why do people want to invest in Marathon Digital? So they will find their own recipe, and I think we'll find that out as the 2025 unfolds. Been with Paul since 2016, paid my house off. Wow, Bill. Well, congratulations, sir. Well done. With his help spread money evenly out over picks and trust in the long-term results. These investments are a means to an end. Well, I'm very grateful for you to have mentioned this comment, because there's a lot of folks that they cherry pick, and then like disaster. It's one of my disasters. I'm going to get things wrong. It's inevitable. I've mentioned this. We've had a stock that went bankrupt from the diamond tier, SunPower. Yeah, went to zero. So it can happen. So the only way to protect yourself is to run a portfolio which has many stocks and crypto investments as you can, knowing that some of them will be abject losers, utter zeros, absolute zeros. Some will be in between, and then there will be a small tier of them that are enormous, extraordinary winners. And the vast majority of returns are going to come from that top tier. So if you don't own a portfolio, you never get the benefit of that. And from having run portfolios, this is true for every portfolio. Like every hedge fund portfolio has the same structure: losers, the middle, and the vast majority of the returns come from like a small group of top tier investments. That's like every single portfolio. Well, people think I'm delusional, but the truth is that I think big. And if you're in like a handful of these, you can, obviously turn small amounts of money into large amounts of money. We have done a crypto course that is on ATG Digital Media. And then check this out, folks. This is some free crypto resources that our team has put together because we continue to get questions from people who are interested in crypto, who are scared, or who don't know pretty basic things, including things like, where do I even buy it? The easiest place to buy crypto is, truthfully, Robinhood. I think their interface is the easiest. After that, it's Coinbase, but Coinbase is a little bit more advanced. But hey, if you have like basic questions, this is something for you to join in. Dean has helped me out with these comments here. Thank you, Dean, for assisting on this live stream. Steve says, thanks so much for continued guidance. Sorry, can't stay to keep watching. But my question, comments, I'm hoping you will help us all when we should start considering when. There must be more to that, which somehow got swallowed up in the YouTube comment thing. Raul says, thank you, and I thank you. Nisetti says, is Palantir still a buy? I bought a few shares 3+ years ago on your recommendation. Average price of 19. Wow. But hung on to my shares now, 66. Yeah, that's a tough question because Palantir trades for, I just need to look. I use a platform called Y Charts, which is the best source for information on companies that I have found. It's expensive, but worth it. Palantir, okay, let me share this tab. It's up a lot this year, up 286% year to date. Is it a buy at 63 times sales? Yeah, it depends on your time frame. I get nervous at 63 times sales. It's obviously looking forward a great deal. There's a lot of enthusiasm priced into the stock. There's a lot of President Trump priced into the stock. There's the environment of multiple wars and all the troubles around the world priced in the stock. 63 times is what I'd call pretty rich to pay for a stock. And if you look here, like, I mean, what's the maximum? Yeah, I mean, it's so in other words, for every dollar that they're taking in sales, people are paying $63. I'm not putting this up. You're not seeing any of it. Oops. 63 is just pretty high. I wouldn't be a buyer of it here. We're not going to sell it because it's a one of a kind company. It could go to 65 times sales, could go to 100 times sales. People will pay anything because it is the only like enterprise wide artificial intelligence platform. And if you think about governments, you think about large businesses that are giving access to corporate secrets, government secrets, they're not going to give it to like 6 different people. So once you give it, to Palantir, effectively they have a monopoly on that information. Um, but 63 times by most standards is pretty rich. Doesn't mean it can't keep going up because continue to going up. And there. All right. This is the second part of Steve's question. It's trying to close out the. Yeah, that's not my view. That can be your view. Every person has a. Steve is saying that we should be starting to close out the minor stocks and cryptos themselves. I disagree. I think this is the beginning of the run. But if you have hit your price point, remember, I'm not your portfolio manager. I'm not your financial advisor. You know what your risk level is. You know what your financial needs are. If they have hit certain price points for you, it may make perfect sense for you to cash out, pay off debt, spend money on something that's there. We think that, like, yeah, crypto is going much higher and the miners will go significantly higher. Anthony Perry, thank you, sir. He is our like button smashed person. And thank you very much for mentioning that. And while you're at it, subscribe to the platform. Just covered Palantir, an expensive stock that could go higher. 65 times, 66 times sales is very high for a growth stock, especially when let's look at their growth. Put this again. Let's see, what is their growth? I mean, they have, this is a company that at least the 5-year assumed growth rate is 30%. So people are saying 65 times sales. That's just a very high number. But the market sometimes just doesn't care for a while. It could run this higher to, I don't know, 90 times sales. But then, like it'll probably have like a poor year. And then like the business will have to catch up with the valuation. So then it will sit or it'll go down. And then until it gets to a point where people find it cheap or whatever, and then they'll come back in. So that's what creates these cycles. The markets don't always trade things at a reasonable price. When they fall in love with a business, they will pay crazy amounts for it. And it's very hard to tell like what that peak will be. Maybe it's 75 times sales, maybe it's 100 times sales. But at some point, folks will be like, yeah, that's just crazy. I'm going to sell. And then we herd into these decisions and then people will sell. And then that will create a bear market for whatever, 12 months, 24 months, 36 months. Then it will trade at a more reasonable price. And then that creates, people like, hey, this is cheap. Let's buy in. That is my experience from being in the market. Thank you. XYO, we sold this out of platinum tier crypto this morning for 100% plus gain. If you benefited, let us know. Write us in and let us know. Hopefully you did, but this has been sold. Barnes Group is not in any of our portfolios, and I do not know that stock offhand. I could quickly look at it. It sounds like an insurance company, but I don't really know. Barnes Group, B. Oh, I see. This was the other. This is a aerospace An aerospace and industrial manufacturer, I'd say this is really not our bailiwick. We focus on what I call opportunity, growth, and innovation stocks. So, not really something that we look at. So, I really don't want to give an opinion about something that we don't actually like focus on and actively track or follow. Um, I just went on a long thing on Palantir, so I hope I answered your question. What is my view of FFIE? Well, let's see. What is FFIE? Um, FFIE is a global shared intelligent mobility ecosystem. Yeah, I mean, this is super speculative stock. My best guess is that you have gotten this name from some editor in the old newsletter business that is using this as the object of their promotion. Super speculative with a nice, interesting name. But if you can, I bet they have almost no real business of any kind. So, yeah, you can see they have almost no revenue. So, this is, I mean, I don't really know the company well, but they don't have a business. So this stock is run to sell stock. In other words, it exists so that people can trade it. I mean, and there are thousands of these stocks in the market. They don't really have any particular value because they don't have a business. And they're essentially marketed like any other product. Hey, here's something sexy. Here's something super, interesting, and the people get excited. They'll bid it up. Into that, from my experience, the management sells, and then people are left, holding the proverbial bag. But that doesn't mean it couldn't pump next year, right? I mean, so, but in terms of like, is there something there behind the stock? Not really. Just found this chat, been with you since 2017. I mean, I've been on YouTube pretty much, like, yeah, I mean, ever since Banyan Hill, like, yeah, terminated my contract. We've been on. So, well, welcome back and appreciate you joining in. Here's one of somebody to come and tell me, person, by your advice, lost my hard money. Listen, nobody forced you to bet or put your money into anything that I said. That was your choice. And yeah, you don't have to listen to me. There's 1,000 people like me. That's your choice. I'm not responsible for your money. You're responsible for the decisions. So, you can come on and say whatever you want. Nonetheless, a lot of people that have made a lot of money. You lost your money. You obviously picked a stock that was a loser. I am not God. I am not perfect. I get things wrong. And that's part of the game. If you don't want to lose, a checking account, a savings account, or a certificate or deposited where is probably the right place for you. That is correct. Yeah, and if you want to win, you're going to have to bet on enough stocks, and you're going to have to stay in this for a while. Yeah, I mean, in between that, some stocks will go bankrupt. Some will be abject, utter losers. And I guarantee if you do this long enough, you will have some of those. Yeah, thank you for your support. I appreciate that. There are lots of people who have done well. I mean, at some point at Banyan Hill, we counted that people using various different strategies, some of them using rules of the game, but some of them, like by using their own sophisticated knowledge, made themselves into millionaires. We counted in excess of 12 people who had made themselves into millionaires as a result of lots of trades and information that were put out at Banyan Hill. Equally, I'm sure there were hundreds of people as well that bankrupted themselves or ruined themselves because they went and bet on like 5 stocks, and those were all terrible investments. Hey, I take responsibility that some of my stocks are going to be crap. If you don't want that, don't play. Don't play. Ruth says, I still have 3D Systems and Stratasys is substantial. Is it worth holding on to? Yes, I actually did a Substack last week on 3D printing. They are, in my opinion, the biggest beneficiaries of this reshoring trend, which is about to get supercharged because President Trump is talking about bringing back the making of a lot of things back to the United States. How are we going to do that? Well, we're not going to put up smokestack factories everywhere. We are going to do that using modern ways of making things. And the modern way to make things is 3D printing. So I believe like 2025 is going to be a big year. As I've been saying, I mean, I did that promotion called America 2.0. I was early, but I don't think I was wrong. Obviously, I was too early, but I think 3D printing is going to boom with reshoring as the threat of tariffs go. Many companies, American companies, that for the last 30 years have been shipping the making of things to China, to Asia, to Mexico, they'd be like, hey, I want to bring things back in because anything you bring in is going to be tariffed. This is going to generate a 3D printing boom, in my opinion. And these stocks have essentially been in a bear market since 2000, I think in 14. So it's a 10-year bear market. They do not reflect the value of the technology, and they do not reflect, the huge upside that is going to come from it. The answer to your question is yes, in my opinion, and we still continue to own it in the silver tier. Rookie says, paid off my house by profits from GBTC and ETHE. Yeah, I mean, people can give me hell for like bad investments, but like all through 2022 and 2023, after I was terminated by Banyan Hill, I told people like GBTC is trading at a 40% discount to the underlying Bitcoin. Load up. ETHE trading at a 60% discount to the underlying Ethereum. I mean, I know people on our team that loaded up and made money. So like, hey, I get things wrong, but I also get things right. Palantir 69. I'm not sure what that means. How do I join your service? You go to atgdigital.media, and that is the website. atgdigital.media. There are 4 tiers: silver, gold, diamond, and platinum, and purple tier. All the details are at atgdigital.media. Let me go. Last of our comments here. Thank you. I appreciate folks defending me. I mean, I definitely get attacked for a number of things. One is obviously for stocks that have done poorly, but then I also got attacked for like all the lifetime subscription stuff that happened with Banyan Hill. The truth is that I never really got paid for any of that because they recognized that over a lifetime. I mean, my mistake was like not understanding the business model that Banyan Hill and others operate under when I was there. Because if I understood that, I don't think I would have like helped them market that. But they recognized that over, I don't know. They never get to show me the accounting. So maybe 15 years, 20 years. So if I was paid anything, it was like a tiny sliver. But now I understand why they were so eager to market it. It was incredibly profitable for them. But like, I mean, I'm not, I mean, that's a side comment to everything. Joanne says, overall, my portfolio is green with a few reds. Listen, Joanne, the truth is there's always going to be a few reds. Every single portfolio has the same structure. If you have 20 stocks, you'll have a bunch of losers, you'll have a bunch in the middle, and a few, the top 3 to 4 will carry your portfolio, which means if you don't have a portfolio, you will never have that structure. It feels great, obviously, to like pick like, hey, I'm going to pick this one stock and I'm going to bet it all. If it works out, it's great. But if it doesn't, you lose all your money. I mean, especially if, it's a very speculative stock, etc. So every portfolio is going to have a bunch of reds. Gold asks, what are my thoughts on the cannabis industry stocks at the moment? Yeah, this is one of the groups where we had like the greatest number of losers. I mean, cannabis just destroyed. I mean, probably a lot of people who are very enthusiastic about it. We went along with that and recommended a lot of stocks, and even the highest quality stocks like Canopy Growth, Aurora Cannabis. and others, or Tilray. I mean, they've all just been destroyed because ultimately nobody could really build a sustainable business based on cannabis without full legalization, without access to banking, without consumerization of cannabis, which is what, like, that was our theory, right? Which is that cannabis was the equivalent of like prohibition. So you go back to prohibition, like, I mean, like alcohol is illegal, gets legalized, slowly it becomes big business dominated by like, five or six big, distilleries and brewers. Maybe that still happens, but like we don't really see that yet happening. Now it's possible that there'll be a bunch of mergers and there will be just one or two companies that survive. And from there, from that, like the ashes of like, that like false boom, one or two companies will become like the big cannabis companies, but it's not there yet. Tilray went and bought like a craft brewing company, and so they're a mix of a cannabis producer and a craft brewer. Canopy is like, I don't know, somewhere in between. There's just simply no sign that, of what we need for a successful stock, which is that growth investors want to see a business, want to see the company growing. As they see the company growing, they start to capitalize that growth by paying rising multiples for that sales stream and earning stream. Without that, it's hard to see like a big run happening again because, yeah, I mean, we had that boom and people lost a lot of money. That always leaves a bitter taste in people's mouth. People don't come back to those industries, and so you always get a chance. There's like uh, uh, even if somebody puts that together, that industry will stay cheap because of that memory of that bitter taste in their mouth. So there'll be an opportunity to buy these cheap for a long time, and then probably once people have forgotten about it, there'll be a boom sometime in the future. Um, I don't know what that means. Yeah, I can't tell you what to do. That's the thing, right? I'm not your financial advisor. It is illegal for me to tell you what to do because I do not know your financial condition. I don't know your risk profile. You have to make those decisions. My view is this, which is that people trying to capture perfect tops or bottoms generally end up doing the wrong thing. The best thing is to look at your own financial profile and be like, hey, if I've made enough money, I have a use for the money. As I like to say, Palantir stock's not going to hug you at night. It's not going to make you anything. Its ultimate use is obviously when you cash out and use the money for something. If you sell and it goes to 100 times sales, you'll be like, Paul, you were an idiot. You told me to sell and I could have made $3,000 more. The thing is, like, once you sell, obviously you give up on the upside. And some people are very sensitive to wanting to capture every dollar upside. So I always found that you attach yourself to tangible things. Hey, I want to pay off my debt. I want to pay off my house. I want to buy this car. I want to go on this vacation. Then you take away the sort of like the the desire to capture the perfect top, to capture every dollar. Instead, you have a use for that money. So that's what I always suggest to people, because I'm just like, I don't get every stock right. I can't tell you where the perfect top is. So if it goes to 150, I can tell you, you're going to feel like you missed out. But equally, it doesn't make me wrong that 70 times sales is a very high number. And historically, growth stocks at 65, 70 times sales, at some point in time, growth investors are going to be like, yeah, I don't think I really want to pay 75 times. I don't really want to pay 80 times. But things can go on for a while. So you have to decide for yourself, like, hey, have I made enough money? Is this good enough for me? I can come back later. Or like, hey, I only got 10 shares. I'm just going to write it out. And I like Palantir, the company, and I think long term it has a future, which is true. And I'm just going to like stay. I don't really need the money. So you have to decide which is the right thing for you. I have not been able to find anybody that will ship cannabis to your house, but Joanne says otherwise. So, I mean, I know that like in certain jurisdictions, like in Washington, D.C. and others, there's home delivery from cannabis dispensaries. But I don't think the national companies can do that because you would be in violation of federal laws of like, I think using the US Postal Service, it would certainly be illegal. Now, maybe they're saying it's not that and they're hiding it, but it would definitely not be something that I think that a national company with, a stock and, where they could be fined and, potentially put out of business is going to risk, I think. All right. Wow, it's an hour and 24 minutes of this live stream. Answer a lot of questions. I hope it's been useful to all of you. In case it's unclear, because I have seen questions from people like, how do I subscribe? You go to atgdigital.media. That is the actual website, atgdigital.media. And that's where you subscribe. And there are 4 tiers. The prices start at $9.99 a month for the silver tier and then go up from there. So check it out over there. Last comments coming in. Followed you since 2016. Best educations one could find. Thank you, sir. I appreciate the comment. Last one here. Thank you so much. Well, thanks to all of you for coming to the live stream. I'll be on again next week. Check out atgdigital.media. This is Paul saying thank you and goodbye.